The people society broke the most can see through the veil, and I have the data. Did you know 70% of practicing mediums are women? And that's not a vibe. That's actually a peer-reviewed study in a medical journal. When you look around at who's psychic, who's actually doing this work, it's women. It's queer people. It's black and brown people. It's people who have been through some shit. I've been doing live mediumship for about 2 years now, with hundreds of people going in and out of my rooms every night. And you want to know the amount of cis straight white men that I have come into my room that are psychics or mediums? I can count them on one hand. One hand. Here's the thing about why that is. Women actually develop PTSD at twice the rate of men. And not because we actually experience more traumatic events than men. We actually report a third fewer than men do on average. It's because of the type of trauma that we carry. Interpersonal trauma, sexual trauma, the kind of trauma that happens in your own body, in your own home, by the people you're supposed to be able to trust. That kind of trauma teaches you to read a room before you ever walk into it. The constant hypervigilance, that scanning the room to make sure you can sense the energy before it ever shifts. Maybe you're picking up on things people aren't even saying, but you just know something is off before they even open their mouth. That is a psychic pipeline right there. It's not a metaphor. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Except now it's doing it across the veil instead of across the dining room table. And queer people consult tarot 3 times more than the general population does. That's because minority stress is a documented trauma pathway that leads to the exact hypervigilant nervous system that we're talking about. And Black Americans, they report encountering spirits 39% more than the 29% of white Americans that did. And then we get to Black queer women. They only make up 0.34% of the general population. And yet they show up in psychic spaces at 3 to 4 times that rate. And that's not random. That's because it maps perfectly with the trauma load. That's because they're sitting at the intersection of racial trauma, religious trauma, minority trauma, all at once. And straight white cis men, they make up about 12 to 17% of the psychic community. The ones who are there almost always have a trauma history. A trauma history that opened that door because that door doesn't open without a reason. The group to least likely hold spiritual beliefs at all, 65% male, 75% white. These are people who never had to learn to read a room like their nervous system depended on it. The veil is thinnest where the wound is deepest. And the research just finally caught up with what we already know. And this is all actually the entire foundation of a workshop I co-built called Sacred Scars. It's happening April 25th, and the waitlist is almost already full. So if you want to spend the day actually working through this in your body, it's saved under my name.